Just everything good. It's just rebounds. He's a great passer, but he's not going to do anything fancy.
Pippen and Barkley, a little bump and shove inside, and here they are.
It's Paxson they usually find during the regular season.
But I think they'd rather have...
No, this is serious. Charles Barkley, Pippen trying to get down to that low box. Pippen says you're not getting there. Charles says I am getting there. Pippen comes around and takes the front. Charles comes back, tries to reestablish. And then, at the end, after everything's said and done, perhaps shades of the game against the Angola Magic. Barkley, after he comes around his teammate, a little shot with the elbow.
A little pork chop, huh?
It is our destiny to win the world championship. God wants us to win the world championship.
Whether divine inspiration plays a part in this may be questioned, but there's no questioning the fervor with which Barkley is spreading the word. Sometimes he does it with a smile, but it's more than just talk. The Phoenix Suns have become much more combative.
Half regular season.
Johnson rejected by Williams. Last touch by Kevin Johnson. Words between Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen.
Well, it's the first time that they had words on either side. Today, you had two skirmishes. Now, this one by Barkley and Pippen, and the other one by Kevin Johnson and BJ. And normally, you haven't had anything in this series.
That little thing between Pippen and Barkley actually started about 2 or 3 minutes ago on a free throw situation where Barkley started to go in a little bit too early. Pippen hit him with a little elbow. Barkley shoved him back and just stood and looked at him.
Jordan, and here's another look at Barkley and Pippen having words at close range. You thought it was wrong during the series for...
What Paul Westphal was upset about is he felt that when Kevin Johnson went to the basket, they were riding him out on their hip, and that's the reason he didn't finish the play.
It counts, and the foul. Charles Barkley will go to the line.
You talk about guys going strong. Let's go back first, though, to Michael Jordan, who sees the opportunity. Chambers does not step up high enough, but then again, with Michael floating, who can? Now, Charles Barkley gonna feel Williams, and he's gonna spin on him, but then he's gonna dunk it right over Scottie Pippen. You talking about a strong man.
Pippen is rejected by Barkley. Knocked out of bounds by Ainge. What a play by Jordan, who was able to elevate, extend in the air as he made certain he had someone to pass the ball to.
And then somebody just happened to be Scottie Pippen, and the guy that just happened to block the shot happened to be Charles Barkley, who, going back in the game earlier, had a few words for one another when there was some bumping and shoving going on, and Charles reminded him once again that that was me that got that block.
So 3:35 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Bulls 100, the Suns 94 as Charles and Scottie get together.
Of course, the history goes, all of us got a long career ahead of us. Maybe we can win a fourth championship, and then we'll think. But right now, we're just trying to get this over.
Well, the Suns aren't exactly ready to coronate the Bulls as the greatest team this year, let alone one of the best of all time.
How many did the Celtics win in a row? 8. Well, when they win 8 in a row, then they'll be the greatest, won't they? A long way to go.
This is treacherous but familiar territory for the Phoenix Suns.
Here he is. He's going to be talking to Scottie Pippen, telling him, you can't guard me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take you to the basket. But he didn't score the basket.
Get the idea, Charles, a little too tense for these games. Takes it too seriously.
Well, right now, only thing he can do is be comfortable, because they're in trouble.
And that's the way he is able to psych himself. Barkley with 18.
If you want to know how all the trash talking got started, it was on this play. And after this play, Charles Barkley started telling Scottie Pippen, you can't guard me, I'm not going anywhere. And then after Charles had scored that play, then Scottie came right back and scored on Charles and said, I'm not going anywhere either. Now, finally, Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns have realized that, hey, we can be friends off the court some other time, but we can't be friends on the court and try to win a championship. Now they're bumping, hitting the Bulls like they never did in the first 3 games, and in the first 4 games, and now they're starting to do that tonight.
Pippen has Armstrong in the clear. And we get a call, a fouls call. Barkley was cut off at center court by Scottie Pippen as Barkley was trying to race down court, and the basket will not count.
Charles Barkley gave the extra effort to try and run down what appeared to be a certain layup. To me, there's no call involved there. That had nothing to do with the outcome of that play. Should not take the basket away.
5:39. Horace had 24 and Charles was fired up. Knicks 98 Chicago, 29 to go, and Scottie in Danny's face for the block. This is the second game in a row. Charles leaves shaking his head.
Bulls have their critics, especially Charles Barkley, who says, no Michael, no ring.
Charles is one of those guys that when things are going well for him, he's fine. So I've always said, come late June, Charles will be criticizing his teammates, the franchise, and everybody that he can point a finger at.
Well, maybe Charles Barkley would like to respond to Scottie Pippen. We'll afford him that opportunity when Charles joins us live in just a minute after a message from Prudential. Look at those eyes darting. He's getting ready to say something. Charles Barkley has literally just gotten out of the whirlpool. He won't play today, but you were listening as Scottie Pippen made his comments. Now, earlier, Charles, you had said, no Michael, no ring. I don't care how well the Bulls are doing during the regular season. In the crunch, they need him in those clutch moments. Scottie Pippen, among other things, just said, on tape with us, Charles is the kind of guy who points fingers at everybody unless things are going well, and come June, he'll be blaming his teammates in the front office and everything else. What do you say?
Well, I'm not really going to get in a verbal confrontation. I said my thing. That was my freedom of speech, and he said his thing. I just think that it's a lot unrealistic to make a big deal of how well the Bulls are doing now. Everything will come clean in June, and the best team will win. And I'm not going to sit there and throw things back and forth. That's good TV, but I just think everything will come clean in June. They don't get the championship away in February. Us and the Knicks proved that last year. Us and the Knicks both had the best record, and both of us disappeared in the playoffs when it was time to win it. All come clean. We don't give away championship rings in February.
Is there any bad blood between you and Pippen? I remember you were jawing at him pretty well during the final round last year.
No, Scott is a good friend, but anytime somebody verbally says something about you, you just a normal reaction for you to say something bad about them. But I'm past that stage right now that I don't get into verbal confrontations anymore. I just think that no championship is won in February. We learned that, like I said, we learned that, and the Knicks learned that last year. And when June come around, you know, everything will come clean. And I just think that I don't know how a team can go from having what people consider the best player in the world to losing him, and then all of a sudden they're championship contenders again. I don't think it's ever happened. Not that I can remember, but I'm only 30. Maybe y'all guys are a lot older back in the studio. Maybe y'all can remember that happening. But I think the Bulls have a very good team. I said that, but they don't ever bring that out. I just think they're going to miss Michael in the playoffs.
Horace Grant had said, look, Michael's great, but we're more of a team without him this year. Was it that prompted it, a defense of Michael?
No, but you got to remember, Horace Grant's the guy who spelled team T-E-E-M. So, you know, he's not all there all the time. But I just think that Scottie Pippen, I respect him a lot. Like you said, for them to make a run at the championship, they need more help. And I appreciate him and I respect him for saying that.
By 10, Barkley.
Oh, no, he got the block. Give him the block. Pippen stepping out. You make the color. Pip gets out, I'll tell you what.
Phil Jackson just shakes his head.
That's fourth on Pip.